This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on with us, and that is Mark Fennell of Boost Soccer Development. What's going on?
Hey, Sean. Glad to be here.
Nothing like a little 41 minutes of troubleshooting to get on to doing the show. Turns out my speakers weren't working.
We got it done. That's all that matters, right?
A couple of computer restarts on both sides of the fence. We're ready to rock.
For sure.
Cool. Well, we got a little bit of time to get to know each other before hopping on the show, so that never hurts anybody.
Exactly.
So why don't we dive into it? The audience might not know who you are, so for those who don't, why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. Mark Fennell, a longtime resident of Barrie, 45 plus years here. Went to high school here, played local soccer here. So my business is pretty much needed in Barrie. So what we're dealing with now is a soccer skills facility, and it's high tech. It's all interactive, and I've seen this stuff online for about 4 years, and I thought it was very intriguing. I ended up wanting to bring that to the community because we don't have anything like this here. There's nothing like this in Simcoe County. So at the end of the day, I wanted to bring something a little bit closer to home. Barrie Soccer Club's growing. We're a part of that right now. And I just wanted a training facility for kids to come and get better and have fun.
Beautiful. That sounds awesome. So let's unpack that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about the specifics. Like, maybe just get my kid into soccer and, he's kind of shaping up. He's looking pretty good, or she's looking pretty good. And, I want to maybe take the extra mile and say, let's hone these skills because we got some real potential. Maybe I'm super competitive, and so is my daughter or my son. And so when I think about Boost Soccer Development, let's talk a little bit more about some of the nitty gritty of, what could I expect if I'm coming in? What do you guys offer?
For sure. So it's for all skill levels. It's not just for elite players. It's not for, club players. It's for everyone. So right from the ground up, if you're 3, 4, 5 years old, if you can kick a ball and you like flashing lights and you like to hit targets, that's what we do. So it's not only for the grassroots players, where kids can come in and they can just shoot against walls that all light up, which is fun and interactive. It counts all your touches. It counts all your scores. We can have 12 different programs for each station, and we can rotate them through so nobody gets bored. And for the middle ground, we'll call it intermediate type of players.
Right.
Maybe have a little bit of skill and you want to get better. You want to get to that next level. You want to, start competing against your teammates. Everything's tracked. Everything that we do here, it's about 40 seconds to a minute, and it's all within the like a passing ring. That's for example, a passing ring is about 6 meters in diameter, so it's about 18 feet, and they all light up, but it's target training. So at the end of the day, you're looking for a green or a blue target, and once you hit that target, it then changes. So it's always something that's going to engage the player. It's going to work on their footwork. It's going to work on their stamina. And it's just multiple touches instead of just kicking the ball against the wall or dribbling around pylons. It's something that's super interactive and a lot of fun. So, and then for the elite player, we're going to build some programs for our top level players, our iModel players, our club players. We're going to do some agility and some fitness programs, as well as our skill building side of things, which will then bring them to the next level.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you find your passion for doing something like this?
I've always played soccer. I've played 5 sports since I was, 5 years old. Soccer was my number one sport growing up. I've always loved watching the Premier League, the Bundesliga. I love when the World Cup comes to town, which is great because World Cup's coming next year to North America. So we got Canada, US, Mexico. There's going to be tons of games in and around the community. So it's just a fun time to be a part of soccer. And I've always been a player, but also I've been coaching for 15 years as well. So I've kind of stepped back from playing, and now I'm just coaching. And I've started this new venture, and hopefully the kids in the community can come and play and have fun. So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool. I played soccer back in high school because I played keeper actually because I couldn't kick the ball, but I was really good in volleyball. So I could I didn't fear diving around or anything like that.
Yeah. So you got good hands then, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So they all came to me in grade 12, grade 11, grade 12, and they're like, Sean, we need a keeper for our team. And I'm like, guys, like, I don't play soccer. Like, I can't kick the ball. They're like, you won't have to kick the ball. Like, just stand in the net and stop the ball from going in. Can you do that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I can do that. They're like, you'll get more days off of school. So on the soccer tournaments, and I was like, I'm in.
Perfect. Yeah, everybody needs a keeper. If it's soccer, how about hockey? Hockey goalies are in huge demand, right? So it's the same sort of deal.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
totally. Good for you. So any black eyes or concussions from that job of yours, or what?
Close to a broken wrist on warm up right before a tournament, final game, and our best player just decides to rip one. Got my hands up a little bit late, and it was so hard, it just bent my wrist like right back.
Ouch.
So my aunt she plays keeper. She's a bit crazy though, because you have to be a bit crazy to play keeper. I didn't play for super long, and yeah, she didn't get her hands up, broke almost every single finger.
Oh my goodness!
The ball hit her like straight onto her fingers. This little wild position in that sport.
I love keepers. We have a great keeper on our team right now, but they need to definitely be out there on their own for sure. They're on their own the whole time, right? So
yeah,
good team in front of them. It's amazing, but yeah, keepers are definitely a staple to a team.
So let's talk a little bit about you. Everybody's got their journey, and you mentioned a little bit about it, but I'd like to have our listeners hear a little bit, maybe more in detail into your backstory. So like, how did you get like into so everything leading up to doing what you're doing today? What did that journey look like?
Yeah, actually, I found this stuff online about 4 years ago. It's brand new technology. All this stuff's from England. So there's a company in England, Elite Skills Arena. And it's all high-tech stuff. They're always innovative, and they're bringing out new things all the time. So I saw that on Instagram about 4 years ago. Thought it was cool. Let's jump forward to 2 years. 2 years ago, I started to really think about it, saying, listen, the community really needs something like this. It's not just another running around pylons type of scenario, right? How many times can you do that as a kid, right? You get bored. So I really started to dive into how can we make this work? Talk to some people, kind of kick the idea around of maybe bringing it to Barrie, maybe trying to get it, in the community somehow. And about 9 months ago is when I really started to dive into the business plan of things, and had a Zoom call with England. He took me around his whole facility. I loved it right off the bat. It's amazing. What they have over there is like next level. So, like the English Premier League is, one of the top leagues in the world. So they have all this technology. Most of their clubs have this. So I wanted to make our club as good as we could, or our community at least, right? So at the end of the day, I just wanted to, get it up and running as fast as I could. Finding a facility is very difficult to try and put this in, on top of, finding, turf and flooring and netting and you name it. Like, to try and find all this stuff, it was a bit of a struggle, but I have a great team behind me, super supportive. And I've just been, you have to have the money aspect of things. So, loans, things that I didn't know about, but now I know tons about it. It's been really, even advertising, it's been a really good learning experience for me.
100%. Learn a lot when you decide to get into business. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And before you decided to do all of this, what were you doing before? You're a teacher, lawyer, firefighter, pro golfer. What were you doing?
I was actually a mailman. So I work for Canada Post. I do some construction, electrical as well. I do a little bit of everything. So it kind of helped me in this regard, just building the whole site pretty much from the ground up. My sons helped me as well, painting, demo. I had some really good friends, some close friends help me lay floor, doing sprinklers, doing all the stuff that needed to be done to get to that spot where we could actually open our doors and have the kids come in here and try it out. So it's been a bit of a slow go in the beginning because, the rollout of everything, summer vacations happening. But now that we're starting to kick into tryout season, we're going to have tryouts starting probably August, September for some of these club teams. So now's the time to come and get in here and get your skills up to where if you want to try out for some of these high-end teams, this is the time to do it.
Beautiful. Any misconceptions out there when it comes to your line of work or club facilities or anything like that?
Yeah, so I think not all training is the same. So I mean, all these trainers around town, they're excellent at what they do. There's some really amazing coaches, some pros, some semi-pro people, really high credentials. We just want to make it fun for the kids. So at the end of the day, it's just about, staying active and being involved in something fun. And then the interactive side of things, kids love that nowadays. So with, the technology based training that we have, it's all tied into one. So it's not, they don't even realize that they're training, but they are. So, and then when they see if they bring a team in here, I had a team of 10 kids in here and they're all lined up and I started writing down their scores. So their score was, Jim had 15, Adam had 17, and then Jason was like, oh, I want to try and beat that. So it was all just competition. They didn't even really realize it. They're just trying to beat their next score. So it just brings a competition out of these kids and they didn't even realize it. So, and they're just getting better and better because they're getting more touches. Just like that rule of, 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah.
I've heard of that before. It's very similar to this, right? Like you want 1 million touches on the ball if you can. And how good can you get, right? So it's the same sort of idea. If you get more touches, you're going to get better. It's just, just common sense.
Well, I love the development that comes along with doing something like that as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they don't really realize it or know it, but there's skills and there's habits, good habits that develop from being competitive, being a part of a team atmosphere, and then interpersonal growth that comes along with that, and just kind of creating little mini good behavior, good human beings, and then they get a workout and at the same time, right? It's
for sure. It's funny how some of these kids just go out sweating, and I have water bottles here. We had an open house a few weeks ago, and I had a couple of spare ones, and they just ran out of water because they're just dying because they're having such a blast. It just kept going and going until they were like almost on the floor. It was an amazing workout, and they're coming out of here just sweating, and their parents are like, "Oh, that was amazing," seeing these kids. So I actually had some kids from next door pop in, and it's just another group from the community, and they're just little guys and girls, and they stopped in just for an afternoon just to come check it out, but they didn't bring their water bottles in. So I sent, after about 20 minutes, they're all gasping. So they went back, got their water bottles, came back and finished off the hour. They came back for another half an hour, 40 minutes. But good thing they did, because they all chugged their waters down and they had a blast doing it. And it was funny. One of the kids said, I told the owner of the shop, and I said, listen, one of the kids came up to me and said it was the best day of his life. I guess he's never played soccer before, and he actually got to run around and kick the ball, but it was all these different pieces of equipment. I wouldn't call them machines, but they're pieces of equipment that light up, and I had the nets out for the kids. I got everything out, and they just had a blast. So it's been really a really positive experience from seeing the kids come in here.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
In life, we pick our path to head down, and we find our passion. We sometimes, go from one stepping stone to the other, and then we land on what we really love to do. And when you're a business owner, it's really easy to put in more hours because it doesn't really feel like work because you're so passionate about it. But, life is not just all about work. It's about other things as well, too. And interests and hobbies, and not finding a balance, because balance is perfectly equal and we tend to work a little bit more than we play, but finding a harmony, I like to call it, that rings the best, that makes it fit, sings the best tune. So when you're not working on or in the business, Mark, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, currently I pretty much retired from soccer, so I'm coaching. So I do a lot of coaching. We're 4 days a week with our club team, and when I'm not doing that, I try and golf. So I'm trying to go into the old man sport, let's call it, and try and golf a little bit more. A little bit easier on my body, but I haven't been able to go out very much this year. Obviously, I got 12 to 16 hours a day at this business, just starting to get it off the ground, and I'm here. My soccer's getting a lot better because I'm getting to practice in here a little bit, but just kind of working on some things in here, making sure that everything's fine-tuned and it's working, up to my standard. I want it to, look and feel like you're playing soccer. And we have, agility sections where you have to run and pass the ball, and then you get it back, and then something changes, and then you have to find and pass it again. So it's like a five set circuit, and there's like walls that you have to pass against, and then receive it through, dribble around. So it's always passing and moving. That's my favorite one because I was a midfielder as I played when I grew up. So center mid. So I'm used to that passing and moving, and the vision and just the stamina and the agility is all tied into one. So.
A lot of fun. I play the old man sport, if we're going to call it that. I think now the world of golf is becoming a lot more popularized. They're trying to do, I think they're doing a good job at kind of opening it up and making golf cool. Like, have you ever seen Full Swing on Netflix?
Oh yeah. The first day it came out, I watched all of it. Yeah.
For those who are listening who like golf and haven't seen Full Swing on Netflix, you have to go watch it. You can just power watch the whole thing in one shot because it's so good. It gives you just a different appreciation and opening the back doors to what the players go through in their lifestyles and all of that stuff. Makes you want to play golf, makes you want to be good at it. But I play in a league on Thursday nights. Super fun. We don't play regular golf. Our league is you go out and play in a group of 4, all on the same team. So you have your A, your B, your C, and your D golfer. The teams get shuffled based off the rankings of each week. So the system's designed to reward the player who didn't play well and bring them up the ladder, and to penalize the better player to bring them down. So the playing field remains as even as you possibly can try. But the games are super fun, and they change on every hole every single week. So you kind of have more of like that camaraderie where guys are helping you read your putt, or guys are, you sink an 8-footer and guys are just hands up in the air like you won the Stanley Cup or something, right? It's like, man, nice putt. You made an 8-footer. Like,
8-footer for par too.
Yeah, you make the birdie, everyone's all pumped,
Oh, okay.
Even par's like, all right, no blood, we're good. Let's keep going.
No, that's good. See, that makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to create here, right? It's not just, we're not just kicking around pylons. We're not just kicking around, we're not kicking against the wall. This is fun competition. I do have a hard court side over here where I've built a little area where there's almost 2 full-size volleyball nets, volleyball courts. So I do have some training in here as well. So they've been coming in here doing some training. I'm going to probably turn that into some futsal in the winter as well. When everybody's, tired of playing outside, they can come in here and play a little bit. We might do some leagues. We sort of kind of shuffle around our schedule and what we're going to do, but there's so many options we could do here because it's almost, 11,000 square feet. We've got a mezzanine. We did birthday party just on the weekend, which was super successful. The kids had a blast. Just run around. They did futsal, volleyball, soccer skills. So it's a space where you could do community events. You can do all that sort of thing. So it's great for, just people to come and feel comfortable and have fun.
Beautiful. All right, let me ask you a question. We'll maybe turn it to a little bit more on the serious side of things. So, we never get to really control what happens in life. Sometimes Mother Nature will get in the way. Sometimes life in general just throw an obstacle our way. We go through hardships, life challenge. Some people experience tragedies. Some people experience these things more than others, unfortunately. It's just the way she kind of goes. But what's always fascinated me is human beings, right? Our ability to be able to like overcome these challenges, having the mindset of seeing the glass half full, being able to pull a silver lining out of something negative that's happened in our life, turn that into as much of a positive as we can, try to grow from it, learn from it, because life moves forward. We kind of have to move forward with it. So I wanted to ask if you've ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge in your life, and if you overcame that, how'd you overcome it? Did you pull a silver lining out of it? How do we grow from it?
Yeah, it's always a soft spot in people's lives, right? When you hear those bit of tragic stories. But so my dad passed away when I was around 20 years old. So I had to grow up real quick. Right from the get-go, I saw what he did. He was an entrepreneur himself. He just tried to start businesses and grow them and do his thing. So he's a super hard worker. So I feel like my attributes as an adult now were contributed to what I saw as a kid. So my father was super hardworking, and I just noticed how hard he worked for our family and to put us into sports, put myself into places. He coached me as well. Just having that figure with me, through my childhood and giving me those basics as a kid really has transformed my life. And everything I do, I just do 100%, and I work as hard as I can. So that's pretty much, where I draw my energy from is, thinking back about, maybe things that he would have liked to see if he was still around. And obviously my mom was super supportive with all this. And right from day one, when I started talking about it, we have a good back and forth. So, it's always great to have that communication with close friends and family that kind of keep you pushing forward. And it's been it's been a tough road, but very positive. I have a great team around me and a super supportive group of friends. I feel like that's, one of the best things you can have in life. Who cares if you have $5 million in the bank, but if you have a good group of friends, you can always lean on them, and they're amazing to always just chat to, regardless of how you're feeling.
Totally agree with that, man. It's your tribe, right? It's the people you decide
That's
to
it.
be around. And being rich in life is not being rich with money, but it's being rich in friendships and relationships. Because these are the people that you count on, you rely on, you can share things with, people that'll always have your back, lend an ear, help guide you, advice, and you are the people who you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with really good people, you're probably going to be a really good person yourself.
Yeah, we try anyway. So that's another thing with having affordability to this. Like growing up, we didn't have a lot of money to play, hockey. I wanted to play hockey, couldn't afford it. So this is something that I'm going to try and keep as affordable as possible. To keep the lights on here, yes, we have to charge a certain amount, but we're going to keep it as, low, as affordable as possible for as many kids as we can get in here. And we just want volume through here, and we just want, community to come check it out and have fun with it. So.
Beautiful. Yeah. I'm just writing something down because I don't want to forget to talk about it after the show.
Sure.
As my wheels are cranking as you're talking.
Yeah, there's always more ideas as we go, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's great.
Okay, so Mark, if you could pick one thing and one thing only that you wish that people knew about your business or listeners knew about your business, what would that one thing be?
I think that we're just accessible. Just come on in and come check us out. We do have, our website has available times where you guys can come. It's going to open up a lot more now that the summertime's rolling through. We're also going to try and integrate some programs here. We're actually coaching them. That was never my intention. My intention was only going to have a self-serve option where people come in, they book like a class pass, like an hour session. They come, we show them how to do things, and they do it on their own. But it really seems to be trending in the direction of parents asking me, do you coach them? Do you show them fundamentals? Do you, show them how to kick a ball? Because, not everybody knows how to kick a ball properly. So to get the most out of your experience here, we're going to integrate actual classes where they're coached. So my son, he just won MVP at Eastview High School, his last year of school. So it's a huge accomplishment. He's a very accomplished player himself. So we'll coach him through helping the kids. Myself, I played in the CPSL back in the day, 2005. I've been coaching for 15 plus years, played at a high level all the way through. So I've seen, most scenarios in soccer. So I'm going to try and continue that with our group here and just push them through and try and get the most out of what they can actually, bring to the table. So if they're coming with, grassroots skills, we'll try and build them up to, a little bit better than house league skills, like just trying to get them to a level that they want to be pushed to. And we're just open for everything. So we're up for, functions. We're here for, if you want to build your skills, if you want your fitness to be better, all that stuff. I actually listened to one of your podcasts recently here, and you talked about the butcher box. And I was actually going to ask you about that, but how that's going. But before we touch on that, I just want to say that nutrition and sports go hand in hand. If you're not doing both, then you might as well not play high-end sports, because if you're eating McDonald's and you're trying to play high-end rep soccer or hockey or whatever it is, you might as well not even play, right? So how was that butcher box going, by the way, anyway?
Yeah, so
trying to get?
That was Jeff who decided
that was Jeff,
to move forward with the butcher box. And actually, I talk to him all day, every day, and I don't know the answer to that. So maybe I'm not a good enough business partner that I should probably know that, I feel like. But I know that he did. He was really close to having that conversation. So he might have done that or not. But I know he had a really, really good podcast with those guys, and they've got a great product. And I completely agree with like everything you're saying. That kind of nutrition mixed in with, the high end kind of sports that was coming around when I was like just almost tailing out of, I was like 2010 or so. It started to become a lot more popular, where that education level was coming out, and then and eating healthy, and then mixing that with, now it's non-negotiable. It's like if you want to play at a high level, you got to feed your body, you got to eat clean, all of that kind of stuff. And I'll get Jeff to reach out after the show and let you know how that's going.
It's everywhere. So I just wanted to know. I just want to get an update to see.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been using my something similar to ButcherBox. I've been using them. Just a different company for about the last 7 years or so. And I don't go to the grocery store anymore. I just go into my freezer, pick out a high quality piece of meat or whatever we're cooking for that day. Perfect. And I know it's clean. I know it's healthy. Almost all of it's local. So you're also supporting local at the same time. And it's a beautiful thing, especially I like barbecuing too. So
yeah, it's great. It keeps you fueled up and keep you going, right? So I try and do the same thing. I used to read all these nutrition books and, try and eat pretty clean, even as a kid. I don't even know where I picked it up from. I read some like Arnold Schwarzenegger book and thought that I was going to be a bodybuilder, but I'm like 150 pounds. So it's like, never going to be that. But to see all that side of things, I'm like, how to eat, how to work out, how to do all those things properly. And he was just the ultimate person to do it, So, I try and instill that in my kids. I try and at practices, I'll ask them like what they had for dinner or like what they had for breakfast. If they're a little sluggish, you ask them if they're okay. You kind of want to make sure they're hydrated. And we've had a few hot games lately. Make sure they're drinking a lot of water and, stay away from the sugar drinks and all that stuff. So, but it definitely goes hand in hand. So I'm all about that. So I have some vending machines in here. People just say, oh, just put whatever in there. And I'm not that type of guy. I'm going to probably put the healthiest stuff that I can in there. Maybe it might not go off the shelf, but that's kind of, I'll try and put as much as I can in there. So
that's very cool, man. Well, look, that was a awesome conversation. It was great to get to know you. Got to spend a little bit more than the average bear because we had a little technical difficulty before coming on the show. But nonetheless, I think for certainly if you're listening, you like soccer, you have a daughter, you have a son who's into soccer as well too, this definitely is a have to check out here in the city. So for those people who are interested and then want to reach out, want to learn a little bit more, or come in and pay a visit, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you, Mark?
So our location is 102 Commerce Park. We're up in the south end of Barrie in the industrial section. We do have a website, boostsoccer.ca, and we have a booking site on top of that as well. So there'll be a link in there once you navigate through the Boost Soccer actual website. And it's essentially just like class passes. So you book your hour session. Like I said, starting next week, we're going to start integrating some actual coach sessions. So keep an eye out for those. If your players are starting out, there's, grassroots, there's intermediate, and then we got advanced sessions. So check those out. We're going to be here pretty much, 10, 12 hours a day for the summer. For the most part, it's pretty much just keeping an eye on the schedule. So when you click on the schedule, then you can just have a drop down box and see if 1 to 2 p.m. is open, and then you can slide in here. So, and we have a limit of like 20 to 30 kids. So if it's not full, then you just jump right in here, and we can show you the ropes. Bring your teams, bring your friends, bring your family, and come check it out.
Awesome stuff. Great conversation. It was great to have an opportunity to spend some time with you, get to know you a little bit more. Another great human being, another great business here in our local market, and wishing you all the best out there.
Great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpwithjeffandsean.com. That's gnpwithjeffandsean.com. Or call 705-413-3775.